Welcome again to the As Good as It Gets Summit. We're helping to empower women to break free from people pleasing and the day-to-day grind to discover more meaning, connection, and fulfillment in life. I'm your host, Dawn Calvinisti, and I created the summit to help women get unstuck, to gain clarity, and to move forward into their bigger purpose. So I'm really happy you're joining us today. I hope that you've been enjoying each of the different speakers. And I want to make a deal with you once again that after this interview, you take one actionable step. There's no point in just watching, right? We want to actually move towards that purpose that we're talking about. I'm so looking forward to sharing our next guest with you. This is Jody. She's an inspiration to the masses. She really will forever be the little angel on your shoulder, talking you through life's many challenges. Jody is best known as a highly sought after keynote speaker, a mindset coach, best-selling international author, and the founder of Essence of Life Integrative Wellness Studios. In 2019, Jody had the honor of being named the Inspirational Woman of Chicago Award winner by Global Woman Co. And she pours love, gratitude, inspiration, and self-confidence into others through her online coaching programs, her YouTube channel, her podcast, and her guided meditations. And after starting her career decades ago as a teacher in various healing arts, she now shares her passions and knowledge by leading the next generation to greatness through her accredited schools in yoga teacher training, mat Pilates teacher training, reformer teacher training, and meditation training. So it is a pleasure to have you here, Jody. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm excited.
I know that as we're talking in the summit starting, that your book, Essence of Life, has just released. And can you tell us a little bit about what it's about? Because I know it has to do with all the things we're going to talk about today.
Yes. So basically, a lot of times we make things way harder than they really need to be. So it is basically 3 steps that you take every single day. I've been doing this for decades and asking people at the end of every class, what are you grateful for? What's a goal you have? And what is something that you like about yourself? The hardest thing for people to ever answer me is what they like about themselves. So that's one of the key things. And that's why I put it in there, is so that people really have to start looking in the mirror and being like, oh, this is what I like about myself. And when I say mirror, I don't mean just the mirror that you reflects back. I mean, I'm talking about your internal as well. So it just made it really easy. I had done a version of this book, 2014, 2016, maybe. And the results were like, I could literally cry, the results from that. And I'm not the same person as I was when I wrote the first one. I'm a little more mature, kind of. And so I wanted to do just a little bit different of a version of it. And the results already, I mean, we're just getting started and it's so, so exciting. So thank you for asking. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's exciting. I think even just if you want to share a little bit about your own journey with us, I know that we're going to talk a little bit about mindset today, and maybe even how mindset comes into your own background, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you never realize what you're going through is actually really teaching you, right? So back in the 70s, my parents consciously uncoupled before it was cool to consciously uncouple. And then, when my mom had, gotten with my stepdad, so I had 2 amazing dads. And a lot of times when people get divorced, the relationship just sucks, right? And my parents made sure both of their families, as well as you 2 decided to divorce each other, but you didn't divorce the families. Like my mom and dad had known each other since they were 2 years old. And so when my dad's grandparent, or when my dad's parents passed away, my mom, my stepdad, and my sister, who is by my stepdad, were all listed as their children as well. And it was the mindset that we're a family and you chose to not have this anymore. So that's between you 2, but we're still it takes a tribe. It truly takes a tribe. So it was very weird for a lot of people to see that. And, I got bullied a lot and I was little and, so a lot of things, and my light was going out, and each one of my parents were trying different things to help me, like just bring my light back. And a lot of it has to do with just clicking your mind into something else, so that's just a little piece of it. I mean, we could go really deep into it, but it's just all the little things that happen in your life, they happen for you, right? Not to make anything bad, even though in the moment we feel they're bad, but a lot of times they happen for you to teach you, and then you can share and teach others from there, which is a beautiful thing to do.
Yeah, I think that's neat that you said, like, a lot of times we don't realize that our life is teaching us, that we don't maybe see it in the moment, but then when we look back, oh yeah, this is where I came from, and this is why I've learned those things, and why I tell other people the things I do, and so on. So that's really neat that you're now sharing that wisdom with us. I know when you and I first chatted, we talked a little bit about just the fact that we often get in our own way.
Oh,
That,
yeah.
right? And then that's a big issue for women. And I know the women watching today, this is such a good topic to talk about. It goes so well with so many of the other speakers. But can we talk a little bit about, why we get in our own way, how we get out of our own way, all of that part of it?
Absolutely. So if you think about this, we're our own worst critic. And we normally would never, ever speak to our children or the little ones that we love the way that we speak to ourselves. We pour doubt into ourselves, but we build up other people. So if we can start building ourselves up, and when I say get out of your own mind, it's not always easy. I get that. And especially with what's going on in the world, these walls get smaller and smaller, but get outside and go for a walk, exercise, dance like nobody's watching, give yourself permission to embrace that inner child. And it's very easy to be in your pajamas all day long. You get up, you brush your teeth, and you fix from here up. But how about get dressed? How about do that self-care? And then when I say self-care, that does not mean just, going to work out. Self-care and nutrition is huge. And when I say nutrition, that means who are you talking to? Who's feeding your soul? Where are you in your emotions? Where are you spiritually? Where are you, and financially? Are you not dreaming big enough? Or are you putting yourself into this lack of and this flight or flight that we've been in for the last 2 years, And I almost feel, especially with women, it's giving yourself permission to be the best you. Your kids will love you when they see you loving life, right? Your significant other will love you even more if they see you feeling great and shining. It's such a ripple effect. And another thing is, a lot of times people are like, oh, well, I wasn't brought up that way. But your parents, I guarantee you, your parents have sacrificed and struggled in order to allow you to have a life that they didn't have. So if you can blossom and have even a better life, they're going to be even prouder, even though they might not say it, but that's okay. That if you were in their shoes, you would be very proud of your children. So it's really just honestly giving yourself permission not to get stuck. When those conversations start with the girls, my mom used to have on her porch, and all the young ones would come over and they would call it bee, itch, and stitch, right? And I would look at them and I'd be like, stop talking about that. That's just so negative. And they'd all think, oh, here she goes on her woohoo stuff. But truly, if one person says something negative, and then another person draws in, it just creates this, right? But if you switch the negativity with something positive, it's going to shut it down, and they're going to be like, oh, and then they're really going to start thinking about other things. That's why in the book, I'll always say, what are you grateful for? When you set a goal out there, again, it's a mindset. I have a goal. Today, I choose to be happy no matter what. And so you set that goal, you spoke it out loud, you set your intentions, and every day we have stuff that comes at us. And however we choose and our perspective to deal with it is different. Now, do we have our moments where we dip? Absolutely. But you can't stay here. I know how to get myself out, and you can come back up. So it's a lot of pep talking. It really is, to yourself.
It's true. It's true. I was just saying to my one of my children this morning, you get a choice. You can choose to go down that rabbit hole and continue with the negative thoughts and that negative spiral, or you can choose to say, you know what, I don't need that right now, and I'm going to choose to think on this, right? And it really is a choice, but we've created such deep habits that often we don't even realize that's where we're at, right? We think it's just how we are. And
you said it perfectly, our habits, get in the habit of waking up in whatever you believe in. And I believe in God, so I say God, but you'll also hear me say universe and spirit. And I say, thank you, God, for this beyond blessed life that you have given me, and you continue to bless me with on a daily basis. Boom, right there. I placed my order. I'm ready to go,
It's true. It's true. Really. I mean, starting your day off with that kind of mindset too, as opposed to, oh, I'm tired, or oh, I don't feel good, or oh, it's so dark out today, or whatever, right? Just the whole energy of the start of your day and how that will then continue is completely different. Completely different.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did. It is. And I think the other thing too we can talk a little bit about is just perspective, because that's part of that, right? It's part of how we get out of our way. It's part of how we see things. It's part of why we think how we think. So maybe we can just
Yeah,
talk a little bit about perspective as well.
absolutely. One of the worst things that and don't get me wrong, we're on a social media platform right now, so we have to use it. But stop comparing yourself to everybody else. You're only getting the best versions of them, depending on which platform you're on. Other platforms are like the negative side of things, right? First off, stop comparing yourself, because your journey is not anybody else's journey at all. And so that's something that you need to think about. And everything that you get to do, like my coach gave me a list of things to do. And I'm an Aries. So if I don't check it off, I'm like, gotta do it. And I didn't complete my list all the way. And so she messaged me and she goes, just send me over what you did. Well, I did this much of my list. And she's like, that's way more than I was expecting. I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, celebrate your wins, right? So that perspective of it's not done until it's complete needs to be changed, right? And it's all about enjoying the journey along the way. And you woke up this morning. That's a great perspective. It truly is a great perspective. Like, I got stuff I get to do today. And when you start thinking about your list of our tasks, right? We get to do those. We truly do. We have a beautiful roof over our head. Maybe we want a penthouse. Maybe we want a 50-acre space, but that's okay if you don't have it right now, because if you're in the gratitude of really appreciating where you are, then you're going to get blessed more. Because if you keep looking at what you don't have, that's what you're going to draw in. It's basically the law of attraction. So just changing your perspective of being amazing. Like, for instance, when I showed you my little one down here, she has to be in every single video. The other day I was like, stop, because I couldn't get the camera to go right. And then I just stopped and she went and sat over on the couch and she just stared at me like, oh, can't believe this. I'm not allowed to be in this. And then I was like, come here. And I held her while we did the Zoom, because I'm like, something loves me that much that wants to be in all the films, and all my clients love her and the other one, Tabby. And so rather than getting annoyed by it, okay, stop. There's a reason. Let's just look at it on the bright side.
Yeah, that's a really good thought, because often, I mean, it even goes back to what you were saying before. Often it's like, who's feeding your soul? What is it that you're letting in to allow yourself to, to think that way, or to not to think that way? And we do, you're right. We get to do this. Not that we have to do this. It's the perspective, right? I have to do these things. No, you get to do these things because there's people that don't get to. And
Exactly.
we're blessed to be able to. So I think
Exactly.
that's a good thing, just to keep the frame of mind and the perspective that you're looking at it. Yeah, good
Yeah.
reminders.
Thank you.
And other things I was thinking about too, as we were chatting, as I was getting prepared, were just, what about things that can help us with this? Like, I know I talk to my girls a lot about, hey, like, ladies, we need to talk about, like, you're saying you want to do this, you want to make this change, you want to have this new perspective, or you're going to get out of your own way. Who's holding you accountable there? How are you making sure that happens? So can we talk a little bit about accountability? Because I think that's a big part.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So for instance, for what you do for a living, if you didn't invest in yourself, how can you expect anybody else to invest in you? Right? So your accountability, who are you accountable to besides just your family, right? But who is holding you to finishing your task, making sure that you take care of yourself, going out to lunch with your friends and belly laughing with them, all of those little things. So finding an accountability partner, but not somebody who lets you get away with things. It's really, we have millions of friends, right? But we can have our handful of who are going to call us out when we're not showing up to our best self, right? In a loving way, and not be, mean about it, but having that accountability. And then also, like, it just makes you strive a little bit more, because oftentimes we get really complacent in life. it's very easy to be complacent. It's very easy to make excuses as to why you can't do something. The hardest thing to do is to walk through the door. It truly is. Like with all of my studios, everybody's like, oh, and they ask me all these questions. And the truth is, my studios are nothing more than a front to get people to walk into the door so that I can start dropping little seeds into them, letting them know, hey, you can look at life a little bit better. You can do this a little bit better. Because most people walk through my door because they don't feel good about themselves. They're stressed out. They need some support somewhere. They need a facial because, their skin is looking dry or their brows or something, right? But they need something to make them feel better. But let's start feeling really good about ourselves. And all of those things are just addition twos.
Right. Right. And I think when we're talking about all of this and it all again goes back to mindset.
Mhm.
Does it really matter? Do you think, I'm just asking an opinion here, but do you think it really matters when you're thinking about mindset? If you want to change the way that you're feeling, if you want to change the way that you get up and, face a day, if you want to change the way that maybe you're going after a goal, or maybe it's something like, who you're choosing to be around as far as like friends and influences. How do we look at our mindset in order to support us in that, I guess is what I'm thinking. Because somehow that's going to influence all of that.
Sure. So we were given this beautiful thing, a gut check, right? And our intuition. And we instantly know if something isn't really right. Like when you called me, it was a yes, like that. Instantly, it was a yes. I wasn't in my head about it. I just wanted to meet you and chat with you. But it was a yes. So a lot of times when we're stuck in our way of a certain way, we know it doesn't feel good. We know that it's just the way that we're getting through. And so if you almost step yourself onto doing the other side of fear, being happy can be really scary because then you can't wallow in your crap anymore, So just stepping to the other side of fear and starting to talk about what's right. And I guarantee you, when you start that journey, there's going to be a lot of relationships in your life that go away. And that's okay, because not everybody is meant to be with you forever, right? And they may go away and never get back on the bus, or they might get back on the bus when they've gone through their healing or their enlightenment or whatever you want to say. But it's just really coming down to that gut check, that intuition, yesterday morning, I literally was putting on my shoes to walk out the door at 6:15 for my first client, and she canceled. And I get it. I understand, why she canceled. But then I had 7 private cancellations. Like they just started coming through like that. So the businesswoman in me was like, can you see the dollars? But the other side of me was like, wow, you could just stay home today. You get your test done instead of doing it the next day, So I literally had to flip my mind into being angry about not having a work day like I would normally have, into I get to do all of this stuff today. And I got to watch a Hallmark show. Hello. Like that was good. Which TV doesn't usually go on very often. So I was like, okay, it's a recharge day for whatever reason. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's so interesting when we start to realize like we really get a choice here. And I keep coming back to this in different interviews too. We get a choice of how we choose to see things, how we choose to respond when something doesn't go our way, or when something changes that we weren't expecting, like what you were just saying. But we get that choice. And often, like if you are a woman who is feeling like you're just going through the grind, life is just happening to you rather than for you, that's a perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That's a perspective. And you have a choice right now, like as you're watching this summit, you have a choice to say, okay, I'm going to believe that it's happening for me. And just like Jody said, when something changes, I can get angry or frustrated or resentful or whatever that thing is, or I can say, no, this happened for me. So what can I make out of that? Right? We get a choice. We get a choice.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been offering 2 free Zoom calls a month for 30 minutes. You look like you have a halo over you right now, actually. When I said that, you're like, I've been offering 2 free Zoom calls a month, which is open coaching. And it's really surprising who's jumping on the calls, which I'm fascinated by. But it's almost like everyone same thing that they're going through. How do I take care of myself? How do I change my mindset? I put everybody else in front of me, and it, so it's just really to jump on that they would love to find people, like finding a really good tribe to uplift you. So obviously all of the people that are listening to your summit right now, like, thank you for asking me to be on it, and the reason you asked me, I teared up, and then I got all my girls together and I was like, you guys, this is what she said, and it was just a really beautiful thing, because who you surround yourself with and who you share your things with makes such a huge, huge difference. And so, like, doing this, can you imagine that if every single person that watches this summit shared it with somebody? What an amazing ripple effect. And what I'm saying and what you're saying could be heard one way by one person. It can land completely different with somebody else. But if it stirs something inside of them and has them make a positive change in their life and have some self-love, it's amazing. So why don't we just start that and just make that beautiful ripple effect? And it has to start with us. It truly does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and I encourage you, like, women, if you want to share this, share it. Tell somebody about the summit. Maybe somebody else is needing to hear something that I'm saying, something that Jody's saying, something that one of the other speakers is saying. It's where they're at and it's what they're needing right now to be fed and to be able to grow and move forward as women. And our hearts, all of the speakers that are on this, our hearts for you women is that you grow and you become the best version of you and that you're living out your purpose. Because as women, we are powerful when we are in our purpose. We are unstoppable when we're in our purpose. And when we're not, we tend to just go in circles and we start to compare and criticize, and it beats us down. And that's not where we want to be. We all want to lift you up. So, reach out and be pulled out today in what we're saying to you. Jody,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. Just a last thought, is there something that you can just share with us? What's something that they turn off this interview with us? What is one thing that they could intentionally go and do right now just to maybe influence that mindset? What's one action they could take?
If you're not by a mirror, I want you to take your phone and record it. Okay. I want you to record yourself saying this. And I want you to say, I love you. I like you. I forgive you. And I will do the best that I can. Thank you. So thank yourself. Forgive yourself. Love yourself, like yourself, and do your best. That's all you could do. Tomorrow might be better, might not. But in this moment, just do what you can, do your best.
I love that. I don't think we encourage ourselves enough. I love that you said that, Jody. Well, thank you very, very much for being here. I know that Jody has given a free gift. It's right below this video. You can click on the link, but she's sharing a free group coaching session with us. And so you can go ahead, click the link, and then you can work that out with Jody. But that is an awesome offering. So thank you for that free gift that you've offered to all the ladies that are listening. And if you haven't picked up Jody's book, go and get it, because that is an exciting place to start. It's one of those steps you can take to get started.
Yes, and then let me know when you do, because I want to see your journey along through the 31 days. So yes, thank you.
And thank you, Jody, again for just participating with us. Thank you. We'll be watching for you. I have all of your links down below so you can find her on social media and you can check her out and get to know her better. If she spoke to you, then connect with her. And we will be continuing to offer more speakers here. Please come back and join us for other actionable tips to help move you forward and get you unstuck and moving into your purpose. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.